ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, July 1st. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line is open. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. This is 304-396-8255 to get your text in. Coming up today on the program, we've got tentatively scheduled the brand new swim and dive coach, Marshall University, Phoebe Campbell. She's going to join us in the next few minutes. We'll talk to her about the job at Marshall University, what she expects, and, of course, what attracted her to the position. And, of course, we're going to hear from you as we've got the open lines the rest of the way. And, of course, we're getting close to the start of the Independence Weekend, the 250th birthday, if you will, of the great country of the United States. And, of course, we've got Dog Dazzle coming up this weekend at Harris Riverfront Park. That's going to be on July 3rd. So we got a busy, actually, the next few days are going to be crazy around here. We've got Dog Dazzle coming up. Kathy Mattea is going to be the headliner for that. And there's also 9th Street Live going on. There are going to be festivities all across the weekend. They're actually giving us the day off on July 6th. How crazy is that for us? So I'm encouraging you, get it all in now because, of course, the weekend's going to be pretty busy, and we want to get into it as much as we possibly can with the last few days of the, well, let's just put it to you this way. We flipped the script here. Pretty soon, we can start getting deep into at least starting with football. And by the way, since it is July 1st, let me be not the first, definitely not the last, but let me be one of the people welcoming Louisiana Tech to the Sun Belt. If you hadn't already, those posts have been posted today from all of the accounts across the Sun Belt, or at least it looks like the majority of them. I didn't actually do a head count. But Marshall University put its post out welcoming the newest member to the league, and we'll go over some of the flips. A few teams leaving, the Mid-American Conference changing, Conference USA always in flux, and of course the Pac-12, new look there. We'll go over all the changes there, and of course back to 14. So a nice solid number for the Sun Belt, focusing on the geography. Never again will a Marshall fan need to go to Texas State for a conference matchup. So say goodbye to those trips. Say hello to more in the state of Louisiana. If you're on the west side right now, you've almost become a bus league, just about. Just about. Still a few flights for Marshall, of course, but it's a lot better than Texas. So is that a fair trade, really? We've talked about that before, but I saw some posts already on social media, and a few people were not a very, very small vocal minority, I'm sure, but a few people were just not happy with Louisiana Tech coming in. This 6s and 9s for me, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, it's 6s and 9s. It's a West Division foe. You won't see them that much. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't detract from the league. I don't know if it adds value to the league. It's not a splashy ad, but it doesn't take any value away from the league, and I'm sure that at least those teams in the West are a little happier with this decision. And I still go back to, you know what? Western Kentucky was right there, was sitting right there. Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. That would have been a great foe. But again, you're trying to make the East and the West sides make sense. And where would you have put Western Kentucky? I don't think you could have put them in the East. They would have had to be a West team, and I don't think there's a team in the West that you can really just pull out and say, okay, now you're an East team. I don't think you could really have done that. So geography, that seems to be the push for the league. And so Sun Belt has its East and its West division, and it has this new member, Louisiana Tech. The league put out the release today on that. We'll get into that with you. And, of course, we've got baseball action coming up tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So the Pirates are back in action tonight. Got handled by the Phillies. Not surprised by that one. It was an 8-0 loss for the Pirates. So Game 3 is coming up tonight. We go on the air with that 6:15 right here on your home of the Pirates, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Yesterday, the Brewers got the better of the Reds 7-2. Those two teams will meet up again tonight, 8 o'clock in Milwaukee. And then earlier today, the Cleveland Guardians in action. And the Guardians got the better of the Texas Rangers 9-4. So that's a look at what happened in baseball. And, of course, the other big thing that's going to be happening tonight, well, is it really the big thing for a lot of people? The ratings say yes. It was definitely successful so far as Fox's gamble to carry the World Cup. And the round of 32 is tonight for Team USA. It's the knockout round. And so USA will go up against Bosnia-Herzegovina. That's going to be in California. That is a big one. USA trying to get into the round of 16. And if the USA can get into the round of 16, is there a possibility that the USA can get into the round of 8? If you get into the round of 8, you're starting to feel like, hey, maybe you can get into the round of 4. Maybe you can get into the championship game of the World Cup here. I don't know how deep this team can go, but there's a lot of optimism. But I know this for certain. Whatever happens, and the more the Team USA can win, I think the better it's going to be. Whatever happens, I think the next time the U.S. hosts a World Cup, or maybe even sooner, the next time that Team USA is in the World Cup, you might have a situation where the team might be even better because the support seems to be there. It's been a long time coming. The last time World Cup was in the United States, this country didn't even have a professional soccer league, and now look at it. And these are some highly valued franchises. And, of course, soccer has grown tremendously. College ranks as well. Locally, we keep talking about how Marshall has been successful, and, of course, that on top of new facilities, which really helped that push. So we've seen a lot in the last, 15, 20, 30 years maybe, the growth of soccer in the United States. Collegiately, though, that's going to be our main focus for the most part. National teams, though, are great, always bring people together. I don't care the sport. I will root for Team USA in whatever sport the team is participating in. It doesn't matter. Winter Olympics, curling, I'm there. I'm all Team USA. Summer games, doesn't matter. I'm all about it. But the one thing about this is I think the World Cup has really shown, or at least we're seeing more and more of it because we're aware of it. The World Cup seems to be even bigger than the Olympics. Is that possible? Is that just my perspective? At least as the world's concerned, I would think the World Cup is the bigger of the two, but locally and across the country, I'm sure that the Olympics might get a little bit more push from you. So we'll get your thoughts, and we're going to go over all of this. And, of course, college football, big day today because, again, it's moving day, and for a lot of teams, new homes across the country. We're going to break all of that down. And also tentatively have Phoebe Campbell joining us on the program, and we'll do that next on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Injured in a wreck? Warner Law Offices is now here for you in Huntington on 4th Avenue across from the courthouse. Personal, local, decades of experience.
Call 345-6789.
Feeling ready for a change? The Women Warrior Summit returns Friday, October 23rd in Huntington, West Virginia. This year, we'll explore the power of reinvention with stories about growth, change, and beginning again. Visit womenwarriorsummit.com to learn more.
This summer, follow country roads to West Virginia's spectacular state parks. Turns out the getaway you've been looking for isn't far, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. With affordable stays, mountain views, and waterfalls that make you slow down a while. It's all right here. Plan your getaway today at wvstateparks.com.
Yeah, the name is Oscar's Breakfast, Burgers, and Brews, but you know what? There's more than just the 3 B's at Oscar's. Oscar's has fresh, never frozen wings with homemade sauces and rubs, soups, chili, sandwiches, fresh salads, shareable apps like pretzel bites with beer cheese. Step out of your comfort zone and get something that doesn't start with a B. Get it? Breakfast, burgers, brews. Try something new at Oscar's Breakfast, Burgers, and Brews. River Place Plaza, Barbersville, OscarsBBB.com.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with this Wednesday edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll get back into that in just a few moments. But yesterday, the press conference to formally introduce the new coach that's going to lead the Marshall swimming and diving program to the next level is with us on the program now. She was unveiled yesterday. We get a chance to talk to her today. Phoebe Campbell coming to Marshall University, most recently at Akron, and she now joins us on the program. Congratulations, Coach, and welcome to Huntington in the area.
Thank you. It's an honor to be part of the herd. I'm excited to be here.
What was it about the position that maybe attracted you once you found out it was open? Was there something specific about Huntington, Marshall, just the opportunity that really made you think, hey, this is going to be the perfect fit for me?
Sure. I mean, in general, I've always said, this is my first time taking on a head coaching position, and I've always wanted to be a head coach. And I've always said, that was the goal. That was what I was hoping for. And I was just looking for the right time, the right place, and the right people. And as I went through the interview process, it was just abundantly clear that just the people here, the values that the institution has, and just the way that they care for each other and the athletic just excellence they strive for at the same time just really aligns with my values. Like I wanted to reach athletic success, academic success, and I also want to, work with good quality people. And this just seemed like the perfect combination of all of those items.
I'm curious if you can share a little bit of the interview process. As you're aware, the program recently had the misfortune of hearing that, okay, it's not going to be around much longer, and then overwhelming support to bring it back. The student athletes, the fan base, there was almost an unlimited supply of people wanting this program not to go away. And so here you are with this program that's gone through this situation. What was that interview process like, knowing that, okay, we had to bring this back and now we want you to be the head coach?
Yeah, it was interesting. I did ask those hard questions, and, I wanted to know, what led to the decisions to bring it back and what led to the decisions to, the whole process and how we landed where we did to begin with and how we landed back where we are now and what the hope was for the future. I was able to have some candid conversations and, was very reassured by the administration and the university as a whole that, like you said, the community rallied behind the swim and dive program. And, the swimming community as a whole rallied behind it as well, talking with other coaches from other programs at other universities. Everybody wanted to see this program, come back and be successful. And, talking with the administration about it and knowing that they were committed to the success of this program and that they wanted to, now that it was coming back, they wanted to come back with a vengeance and, give these girls every opportunity to be successful and to, bounce back from this challenging time. So it's really comforting and exciting to know that I'm working with people that want to see this team achieve great things.
So what's your early impressions so far of what you get to work with and where you want to take this program?
I'm sorry, my first impressions?
Yeah, what's your just over impressions, Marshall, the program in general, and maybe where do you want to take this program now that you know what your starting point is?
Yeah. I believe we have all the resources we need to be successful. There's a lot of work ahead of us for sure. There's a lot of, things that we're going to have to navigate and, staff to hire and things of that nature, which is all very, very exciting. Like all the things we have in front of us are opportunities that I'm really excited to take on. And, as I've talked to, other support staff members from, athletic training, strength and conditioning, I just, you can tell that everybody is so invested in this team and just all the athletics in general. Like, they're invested in every program, and swim and dive specifically. I can feel the love, I can feel the support and the investment that they have in this program, and that they want to work together to give us the best opportunities possible to be successful.
As you mentioned, first time as a head coach, but of course before that you have had extensive experience at other programs, most recently at Akron, a former foe of the Thundering Herd during the Mid-American Conference days. So I'm sure you had a little bit of familiarity with Marshall before you came to Huntington to accept the position. But going back to your success at Akron, what's your support as far as, I guess what I'm asking you is, what's your support system look like as you start to move forward to this next step? What's that going to look like, you think? And I mean, is there anyone you kind of lean on as you take this step to become a head coach?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, every coach that I have, worked with in the past, like, I have a great relationship with them, and I know that I can call them up anytime. My head coach back at University of New Mexico specifically, we talk all the time. And when I was at New Mexico, that program was at a place where it needed to rebuild as well. Like, we came in when the team was at a really low point. And needed to restructure and, got to blaze a new trail. And we're at a point right now where we're rebuilding here. So, I'm really grateful that I had that experience at New Mexico and that I had that opportunity to help rebuild a program and help the athletes, take pride in their program, take pride in the university, and, find that confidence for themselves. So I talk with her all the time and, still kind of brainstorm about those, tools and resources that we use to kind of help get the team set on the right path and the right track. And, the coaches that I worked with previously at Texas A&M, like they're people that I call up on a regular basis as well. And, just coaches in general, that I've met along the way. I've got a lot of friends in the coaching world that I honestly call up quite regularly. And I'm grateful that I have a great pool of resources and people, that I can trust and can brainstorm with, and, just that want to see, this team be successful and that I can contribute to them as well.
Phoebe Campbell is with us. She's named the new swim and dive head coach at Marshall University. And you mentioned an interesting path to get to Huntington, Texas A&M, New Mexico, Vassar College as well, Akron. That's a really wide road there to get to this point, and it just on paper sounds really interesting. How do you translate New Mexico? Obviously, it's probably easier to translate New Mexico to Texas A&M, of course. Those stops, Akron and then Huntington. It's just, what's that journey look like for you as you've gotten this point?
Yeah, I mean, it has been an interesting journey. It's been very exciting. And, all the opportunities that I've had, it's, each one prepared me for the next one and the next one and the next one. So, very few of the stops I took were like, if I put it on my bingo board beforehand, I wouldn't have expected that to actually be where I landed. It just, it worked out, and the people that I met, helped me be prepared for the next opportunity. And, working at New Mexico to Akron was a big jump. Like I previously mentioned, New Mexico was a big rebuild, and Akron is a very well-established, successful program that's won. This was like they've won 12 conference titles in the last 13 years. So, they're very well-established. So it was very cool getting to have the chance to, go from a program that was rebuilding and creating culture to a program that had a very well-established culture, and, a history for success, and learning the differences between those programs. So I'm excited to take the knowledge that I've gotten from both of those experiences and bring those to combine into a great situation here.
Culture, you almost read my mind, because you look at a football coach and you say, okay, what kind of team you're going to have here? Is it going to be a gritty team? Is it going to be, a tough defensive team? Or you're going to be run heavy? We can ask those type of questions for a program like swimming or diving. What does that culture look like? And how do you answer that question? What's this team going to look like?
We're going to be a tight-knit team that's going to fight together. Like, we're going to, whenever I, describe us, I use a closed fist to show that we're all going to come together. as one unit and one team. Because, swimming is an individual sport in a lot of ways, but it is a team sport. Like there's breaststrokers and butterflyers and backstrokers and divers, and, IMers and distance swimmers and so on and so forth. And they each have their own race. They're swimming in their own lane, but we're successful together. We train together. We, look at that challenging set that's going to, cause our heart rate to be way up in the stratosphere for an extended period of time, and they do that together. Yes, it is an individual sport in a lot of ways, but it's going to take all of us, buying in together, supporting each other, and choosing every single day to walk onto the pool deck and being the best versions of ourselves and giving all of our heart and effort every single day. I've been telling, people like these girls, you fought for this season, you fought for this opportunity to, have this program here and to be a part of this program. So fight every day that we're in the water, fight every single day that we're walking onto that pool deck.
And maybe as far as fan support is concerned, how do you take that? Hey, we want this program to stick around. To okay, you wanted it, you got it. What do you need to do? What does the team need to do? What do you think the fans need to do to kind of continue that momentum? You're going to put your fight in. What do they need to do? What do you want them to do to help maybe grow this program from that point of view?
Show up when we've got swim meets. Be here, be present, be loud, and we'll put on a good show for you. We'll make it fun. We'll swim fast. But yes, when there's an opportunity to come support the team, be here. Like that's what we need. And anytime there's an opportunity to support any of the athletics programs that someone does specifically, like if you're able to donate, contribute financially, like that always helps a great deal. But show up, be present, cheer for our athletes, and continue to pay attention to what we're doing online and in person as much as possible.
And you would think it's an individual sport, but if it's constantly loud, everyone's going to feed off of that. It doesn't matter if you're cheering for something over here or something over there, home or away. It might look like an individual sport. Back to your point there, I think it's probably now more than ever important to have all of that fan support here, because that's the only way that this program's going to take that next step, especially competing in a tough conference like the American.
Absolutely. Like the athletes, like any person, like whether you're an athlete, a musician, or whatever it is, like when you've got people there supporting you, it amplifies the experience and it just gives you something more to fight for. And, like I said before, like the girls fought for this season, we're going to fight for it every single day. So knowing that we've got people standing behind us and rallying behind us and supporting us, that just makes it that much easier to find that extra gear to push a little bit harder.
Phoebe Campbell joins us. She's named the new swim and dive head coach at Marshall University. How did you get your start? What was it about coaching, or starting out in the pool? What was it that maybe got you started and then got you on this journey to coaching?
Yeah, I always feel silly answering this question because I'm like, it really does go back to when I was just a baby, like just a little one splashing around in the pool with my grandmother. When I was real little, I grew up in Maine, but the first few years of my life, I lived in Searcy, Arkansas with, and my grandmother, she taught everybody in that town how to swim. She taught swim lessons for the local university there, and she taught my mom how to swim. And, that was really where the love for the water and the love for, just competition and the love for, coaching other people really started. And that just kind of built from there. And, she really kind of inspired me and put that love for me at a young age and taught me that, you want to help people reach their full potential athletically, but you also can do it with love. You can do that with compassion, and you can do that and recognize that, not everybody's going to be an Olympian. Like if you can have an Olympian, that's great, but some people, like their full potential might look a little bit different for each person. And like your job as their coach and their leader is to help them reach their full potential, wherever that may be and whatever that may be, and like whatever level that that may be. And again, to help them become the best versions of themselves possible and being good people at the same time. And that's, that's where the love from it came. And I'm also just a competitive person, to be quite frank. I love to win. I love to, help people be successful and get their hand on the wall first, or, get the cleanest entry on their dives, whatever it may be.
Okay, so you're competitive. When was that moment when you were the best? You beat grandma, you beat mom. When was that moment?
It's funny. I was competitive, but I wouldn't say I was the best athlete. But for me, it's funny. The biggest moments for me were it wasn't when I touched the wall first. It was actually when I touched the wall fourth. And it was just a high school state meet. There was this one girl, I don't remember her name anymore, but at our conference meet a few weeks before, she and I both dove in. It was a 400 freestyle relay. We both entered the water at the same exact time, and I was winning up until the last 12 and a half yards at the conference meet. And I ended up, she out-touched me, she beat me, and they won the conference title. And I felt horrible because I felt like I let my teammates down, and I, was beating myself up for that. And then I guess about a week or two later, we were at the state meet, and, we didn't end up winning this event overall. Like I said, we finished fourth, but I ended up diving in at the same time with that same exact athlete. And, it was basically the same exact race, stroke for stroke, except on that last 12 and a half yards, I pulled ahead of her, out-touched her, and, we touched in fourth instead of fifth like the other team did. And that for me was one of the best moments for me in my athletic career, because I, felt like I failed before, but the next opportunity I had to, make up for it and out-touch that person, I made sure she didn't beat me again.
Okay, so highly competitive. I expect that with the team you have, right? You're going to get in the pool and just say, okay, can you beat Coach? Let's go. I mean, is it that level of competitiveness? You're going to put yourself out there against them, show them what it takes.
They would outswim me right now, honestly. I mean, I'm not going to use my own athletic capabilities in that regard. But I mean, I can outwork most people. And I mean, I'm going to show them every day how competitive I am and how much I'm willing to work, in other facets. I won't be diving in the water and racing them anytime soon, but I will be, working for them and standing up for them. And like I said, I'm going to outwork everybody around me any opportunity I have.
Our guest is Phoebe Campbell. She's named the new swim and dive head coach at Marshall University. I'm glad to have you here. Congratulations. This is really exciting. An opportunity to take this program to the next level, and I hope that we're talking about for years to come how this program has gone from where it's at now to maybe winning multiple conference titles like you had that success at Akron. So again, congratulations! Thank you for the time today. Appreciate it.
No, thank you. It was fun getting to chat with you guys, and I hope we'll see you here at the pool next time we have a home meet.
Absolutely. Thank you, Phoebe. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
That is Phoebe Campbell. She's the new head coach at Marshall University for swim and dive. Thundering Herd, could it be in line to win multiple conference championships like her success at Akron, being a part of that program? And that's hopefully the result that the Thundering Herd is looking for. We're going to get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Now that Wendy's has these new biggie deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get an $8 biggie bundle, the eldest who think they're so grown can get a $6 biggie bag, and the little one who can do no wrong can get a $4 biggie bites. Assuming they have a credit card. No, I'm kidding. We take cash too. 4, 6, and $8 biggie deals for the whole family. Only at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Remodeling your house? Need to save money? Shop at Home Builder Supply, 1560 Diedrich Boulevard in Russell. They have everything you need, such as flooring tile, windows, vanities, cabinets, doors, trim, and much more. They can even do installations. For furniture and home decor, visit their new Home Builders Furniture location by Super Quick on Route 1 in Greenup. For personal service, affordable prices, and workmanship you can trust, go to Home Builders Supply in Russell and Home Builders Furniture in Greenup. They do it right.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington Ninth Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, July 3rd, it's Massing with the Dinosaur Burps on the Marshall OBGYN stage, followed by fireworks from Dog Dazzle. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy Ninth Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's in Pullman Square. July 10th, enjoy the music of the Beatles with the Newbies. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, SODS, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications.
Imagine being denied an apartment because of your religion, or your race, or because you have children, or a disability.
It's so wrong.
Yes, but who has the power to stop this?
You do. Each of us has the power. The law is on your side. It's illegal for landlords to discriminate because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. If you suspect that you have experienced housing discrimination, file a complaint with HUD immediately so we can investigate it. Fair housing is your right.
Use it.
To learn more, visit hud.gov/fairhousing. That's hud.gov/fairhousing. Or call 1-800-669-9777. 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
All of us love sports, but not all sports are created equal. College sports have big budgets, dedicated alumni networks, and corporate sponsorships. Professional sports have even deeper pockets, millionaire owners, lucrative TV and radio deals, and merchandise sales. High school sports have you. Everyone agrees high school sports give us plenty of reasons to cheer. And now's a great time for us to give back. Supporting your hometown high school won't cost you much, but it will go a long way to ensuring the games we love the most are here to stay. West Virginia high school sports. They're good for our kids, good for our community, and best of all, they're good for you.
This message presented by the West Virginia Secondary School Activities Commission and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
During difficult times, young military families feel the impact. When a military spouse is unemployed, the whole family struggles. The Armed Services YMCA answers the call and provides food assistance to ensure military children have plenty to eat and childcare that enables military spouses to work. Now more than ever, we need your help to provide emergency relief to military families. Help now at helpymca.org.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, Metro News Talkline each weekday, 10:06, right here, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. It is July 1st. Our text line is open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter writes in, and yes, happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Texter says the Mets pay him $1 million every July 1st. You know how long that's going to go? That is going to go until 2035. He's going to be 72 years old. I would like to, every July 1st, get a check for $1 million. Just, I'd be good. Just I wake up, look at my bank account. There's $1 million from the Mets. Okay, I'm good. Absolutely. I'll take $500,000. You know what? I'm not going to be greedy. I'll take $500,000. That's my line, though. I could go with $250,000, but really, I think $500,000 would be fine. But no, I want the $1 million deal. I mean, that was crazy. Restructuring that deal He didn't play baseball again for the Mets after 1999. I mean, he played with the Cardinals. He got to 2001, and the Mets needed out of that contract. So the negotiation began, and he got bought out, but it was deferred so the Mets could make things work, and they were trying to work some deals out. And now it's at least become something that the Mets, they honestly embrace. I mean, there should be a Bobby Bonilla Day celebration every year at a Mets game. The Mets should get to play at home if the schedule permits July 1st every year for Bobby Bonilla Day. Wherever the games fall on the schedule, that's the official Bobby Bonilla Day game. But July 1st, happy Bobby Bonilla Day. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. A couple of interesting things coming out. We have a pretty good idea of what the MAC Sunbelt Challenge is going to look like for the Thundering Herd. According to reports that have circulated, Marshall is set to play Buffalo. Marshall will host that game. This is the MAC Sunbelt Challenge on November 2nd. So the matchup for Marshall is Buffalo, which doesn't excite me at all. The other matchups, Ball State's at Georgia Southern, Bowling Green's at Georgia State, Akron's at UL. Let's see, Kent State's got La Tech. Okay. Eastern Michigan is taking on Coastal Carolina. Central Michigan's got Monroe. Miami is going to be at JMU. Ohio is going to be at South Alabama. Looks like UMass at Troy, Western Michigan's at Old Dominion, and Toledo's at Arkansas State. But Marshall gets Buffalo. At least that game's at home. That's the good news there. Doesn't excite me, though. Now, I don't know which game I would have preferred. But you knew Marshall wasn't going to get Ohio. Marshall wasn't going to get Ohio because Marshall already puts that on the schedule. That's not a new, interesting matchup. And Marshall pretty much also puts on the schedule a couple of these other teams. So this MAC Sunbelt Challenge is kind of different for Marshall because you've already got a rotation of teams from the Mid-American Conference on your schedule, which makes perfect sense. Marshall should always play teams from the Mid-American Conference. I'm not one of these people that look down on the MAC. It was a great home for the Thundering Herd for many years. And when you look at that schedule, which is coming out soon, hopefully the Thundering Herd will have some interesting non-conference matchups at home. You've got some interesting non-conference matchups on the road already. Ohio State being probably the big one, I think, or at least in my mind, that's probably the most fan-friendly of the games that have been announced some time ago because just head up the road to Columbus. There you go, taking on the Buckeyes. I do like it when you see Marshall play those games. I would like to see more Marshall Louisville. That's come up. Marshall would be, I think, a good non-conference opponent for Louisville. It would be you could maybe get Kentucky in the rotation now and then if you can pull that off. I wouldn't try the doubleheader, but Marshall, Kentucky, obviously, you want to have that as a game. You want to have Marshall and Louisville. I think that would be great as well if you can make that happen. And so the Thundering Herd non-conference always has those MAC schools on. But if you look at it from what does this MAC Sunbelt Challenge do, what the MAC Sunbelt Challenge does is it gives you a matchup that if you lose it, it doesn't really hurt you. If you win it, it will benefit you and you don't lose any ground, to be quite candid, because you're playing a as close to like opponent as you possibly can on the schedule. And so it's definitely not a bad thing. Honestly, I'm okay with it. I think Marshall should maybe be excused from this thing just because Marshall already plays several MAC schools, but as long as the schedule's interesting, I'm okay with it. I just don't think that I'm interested in Marshall Buffalo from a interest standpoint, other than it's a Marshall game. So I'll fall back on that. Not really worried about the opponent. It's a Marshall game, okay. Not excited about the matchup whatsoever. 304-396-TALK, the text line, 304-396-8255. But then again, really, should it matter? I mean, it's a home game for one, so the opponent is Buffalo. It's not as if Buffalo is going to bring a lot of fans to Huntington. So it's really, you're excited to see the herd, fill the cam, let's go, let's watch Marshall win. And that's probably the best attitude to go into this. I'm just not excited about that matchup whatsoever. Buffalo, I mean, football really wasn't excited about that matchup. I really wasn't excited about Buffalo joining the Mid-American Conference. Not that was the beginning of the end for the MAC for me. The MAC's doing fine, but you had this really nice, it fit, the geography fit, and then, oh, by the way, here's Buffalo. Okay, Buffalo's all the way out here, and then you have the Mid-American Conference here. What's Mid-American about Buffalo? Nothing. And so when I see Buffalo on the schedule, I'm like, okay, you're playing Buffalo. And that's really one of those few opponents that I look at and just go, okay, why? Not excited about that. I've never been excited about Buffalo as an opponent in anything. I can get excited about almost every other Mid-American Conference team except Buffalo. 304-396-TALK, the text line. Speaking of Mid-American Conference teams, it is July 1st. It's time for new homes for teams that have realigned. We'll tell you about it when we continue on this edition of Your Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is Huntington Mayor Patrick Farrell. The best part of any city isn't the buildings, it's the people. It's neighborhoods spending time together, families making memories, friends reconnecting on a summer evening. That's what Dog Dazzle is all about. Join us July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. Celebrate America's birthday with food, music, community, and fireworks over the Ohio River. Because the best cities are built when people come together. Come celebrate America's birthday with us.
Brody Nash works all things real estate. Commercial and residential transactions are extremely different. That's exactly why Brody is fully trained and experienced in both. If selling your property in West Virginia, Ohio, or Kentucky is on your radar, Brody is your agent. Call or text 304-208-6190 or visit BrodyNash.com. Local expert, global reach. Century 21 Homes and Land. Patrick Lucas Broker.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Baum Lumber, your place for quality roof trusses, building materials, hot spring spas, lawn equipment, and more. See baumlumber.com. Jerk Riley's with 2 great locations, Greenup Avenue in Ashland and Pullman Square in Huntington. Eat, drink, play games, and be merry. It's always a party at Jerk's.
I still can't believe there are people out there who haven't had breakfast from Oscar's Breakfast Burgers and Brews. It's literally the second word in the name after Oscar's. Oh, I don't get up that early. Well, guess what? Breakfast is served all day. No excuses, bro. Chicken and waffles, loaded breakfast burritos, big, bold omelets, biscuits and gravy that mean business. Morning, noon, or whenever you finally wake up, breakfast is at Oscar's Breakfast Burgers and Brews. River Place Plaza, Barbersville, OscarsBBB.com.
Red, white, and boom. The savings are exploding at Scioto Shoe Mart's July 4th pre-sale. July 1st through the 3rd. A large assortment of men's and women's casual shoes and dress shoes now $20. Assorted children's shoes starting at $10 and up. Assorted women's summer apparel now 50% off regular price. Don't wait for the fireworks. Save now and shop at Scioto Shoe Mart's July 4th pre-sale. 615 Harding Avenue, Sciotaville. Closed July 4th.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A covenant that split the skies over Berlin. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A promise was made. A solemn oath that liberated Seoul. A sacred trust that defended Quezon. A pact that dug in Da Nang. A contract that weathered Tet. A promise was made. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. A bond that patrolled door to door in Fallujah. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. A promise we all must keep. DAV fights for all veterans and their families so they get the health care, financial benefits, and support they earned. If you're a veteran who needs help or you'd like to help us keep the promise, visit DAV.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Final segment for today's edition of The Drive. Plenty of time for you at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Being it's July 1st, it is Happy Bobby Bonilla Day to you. It is also the first day of school for a lot of schools and conferences. Of course, Conference USA welcoming Louisiana Tech to the league, saying so long and farewell to Texas State. So Texas State goes to the Pac-12. Louisiana Tech comes in and fills the gap. I'm push about it. I don't have anything. Again, the geography's got to be good for the teams in the West, and that's really the whole big deal here. So Texas State out, Louisiana Tech, welcome to the Sun Belt. Mid-American Conference losing Northern Illinois, and you're getting Sacramento State coming in for football. Scratch my head at that one a little bit. I'm just sitting here, okay, Sacramento State, Mid-American Conference. You're going to play football. You're the Mid-American Conference, and you're going out California. I guess the dollar speaks more than the geography here. Pac-12, of course, as I just mentioned. Welcome to the Pac-12, to Texas State, obviously. Gonzaga, welcome to the Pac-12, not football. Welcome to the Pac-12, Utah State. San Diego State, welcome Colorado State. Fresno State and Boise State. So Oregon State and Washington State sitting there by themselves, the Pac-2 plus 10 to be announced, decided, you know what, we're going to still hold court here. We're going to hold this conference together. Now, the Pac-12, in my mind, used to be a tremendous league, and it's not terrible, but the Pac-12 was so much bigger, and now it's just the Mountain West and friends, pretty much, is what the Pac-12 is come back to. And, of course, you have the Mountain West. Mountain West is without Boise State, Colorado State, Utah State, San Diego State, Fresno State, without those schools. And now you have, for football only, as we mentioned, Northern Illinois is football only. UC Davis is non-football. North Dakota State is football only. UTEP, so you replace Boise State and those other schools with UTEP, Northern Illinois, North Dakota State, and UC Davis for non-football related sports. Mountain West is starting to feel like Conference USA to me, just a little bit. But still, you have Air Force there, right? You have Air Force. You have Hawaii there, right? You're okay. I mean, I don't have a problem. I like Hawaii. UNLV, you got them there, right? I mean, Northern Illinois is going to be okay in football. It's going to be good. And then, of course, you got North Dakota State as a football only school, and they, because of the NCAA, they get to be bowl eligible this year. How about that? And then you got Conference USA losing, as we mentioned, Louisiana Tech and UTEP. No one's coming in to Conference USA. Conference USA. I good on Conference USA for still being around. But Conference USA is not the Conference USA I thought it was many years ago when I was excited that Marshall was going to get into Conference USA. You looked at that map, you're like, oh, yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. You got Cincinnati on that map. You got Louisville on that map. Hey, you got Memphis. Oh, yeah, this is all right. This is going to be fun. There's even some talk when Marshall was moving up to that 1A level. There was some talk among my peers at the time. What did we know? That Marshall was going to look at the MAC and go, you know what? No, we're going to go to Conference USA. Because Marshall was a pretty big deal making that move up. Like Marshall could have said, yeah, we're going to Conference USA. How's that? That never came to be. And then Conference USA trying to survive, adding Marshall, and then Marshall taking its sweet time to win a football championship, which honestly, some in the conference were surprised that it took that long for Marshall to do that in football. That was not what the powers that be in Conference USA were expecting. When Marshall joined, thought it would be a lot sooner that Marshall would be in the championship game and possibly winning some championships. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for being a part of it. We will be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.